Welcome to the Books, Beards, Booze podcast, where we talk books, drink booze, and have beards.
All right. As always, I am Bob of Tales by Bob.
I'm the ass of the podcast, Derek.
And I'm going to be investor, Tanya.
No,
No,
you don't have
you
the
didn't.
suspenders.
You didn't give me a chance to
Well,
go get suspenders.
That's on you.
That's because
That's
Bob
on you.
almost died. You know what? I'll give you.
I did almost die. I
I'll
did
tell you
almost
what.
die.
Can
in
we
between.
suspend this so I can get suspenders?
No.
No, but
Because
what
you're in
we
between
can
us.
do,
You're in the middle. You'd have to. One of us would have to move. So
But
you
what
can
we
get
can
suspenders.
do
Well,
is
that's
we
a
can
y'all
give you
problem.
I was about to help you out. And you talking about?
No, I was saying it to him and just turned to look at you.
Okay. Well, no, because you said plural. You said y'all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a y'all
well,
problem.
No, well, never mind then. I'm not going to help.
Okay.
I'm
I
was
unpaid
gonna help.
intern Tanya.
Unpaid intern Tanya.
And you're unpaid for a reason.
Yeah. Clearly. All right. So it's Christmas time. You know, you're probably out there thinking, God, man, I want to buy someone a present. And I just need a good recommendation of what book to buy. Because books are the best present.
Books are the best present, y'all, for real.
You're not wrong. I love a book for. I mean,
Yeah.
that's literally all I almost ever want
Yeah,
for Christmas.
books are great.
And
so,
socks. I get my one thing of socks, and then I just want books.
we decided that we were going to each make some recommendations, and ideally weirdly specific recommendations for books.
Yep.
So this will probably be a fairly short episode.
That's cute.
We'll see. We'll see. But all right, so I'll start us off.
Wait,
Yes.
is your first one funny?
Go ahead. Start us off, Derek.
I'll start us off because this is the only one that I didn't actually think of a humorous reason for.
You and then me.
Okay.
We'll go that way. We'll move that.
My
circle.
first one,
Yeah.
and this is actually a callback to an episode from a long time ago where we decided what would be the best book for a new fantasy reader
Yeah.
to read.
Yeah.
And my answer was Magician by Raymond E. Feist.
Yeah.
That is my suggestion now.
Okay.
Who is this book for? It's for new fantasy readers. The reason it is because it's got traditional races and elves, dwarves, things like that. So it introduces you to the tropes, but it's not so trope heavy because there are differences where the time span's different. There's two different worlds. It does enough that it will introduce you to the common trends in traditional fantasy, but does enough to make it where it's not the same.
Yeah.
And it's just a well-written book.
Okay.
So I think it's a really good gateway. It's what got me into fantasy. So I think it's a great choice.
Cool.
Okay, my first recommendation is Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi. This is
I've not even heard of this book.
This is contemporary YA. This is why y'all haven't.
Well, Bob's read some more.
Yeah,
It
I read
came
YA.
out. It came out this year in 2018.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's what I really enjoyed about it was like it's got some really good.
Can we point out that you read a book and didn't tell me?
This was earlier in the year. I'm pretty sure I was reading this at the same time I was reading Astrophysics for People in a Hurry. Did I tell you?
I didn't know you read it because
I read
I
both
own
those.
it and I haven't read it yet.
I read both of those. So this book is really good for like if you have a sister or a best friend or whatever that is dealing with a breakup of sorts and or needs to go to therapy. Okay, so it has really good like cautious relationship building with like realistically flawed people. But there
Is this a fiction book or
Yeah.
like a self-help book?
no, they're fiction. It's a fiction. It's
Okay.
contemporary YA fiction.
I understand where you're coming from on this because one of my answers on here
Like
is
it deals
similar.
a lot with like mental health and having family baggage and your own trauma and letting yourself be vulnerable with other people. And the premise is like this girl and this guy, like they end up kind of being friends. They don't have anybody else, so they are each other's emergency contact. It's like I literally don't have anyone else. Be
Yeah.
my emergency contact. And then from there, there's this relationship of sorts that grows. And it was like it
Cool.
felt very real to me as a person who like
As a robot?
well, yeah, and at that period of time, is like I am not in a place emotionally where I can be in a relationship. But like,
Is
bro,
it written in a series of zeros and ones?
it's written in text. Some of it back and forth. You
That's
see,
kinda
like
cool.
where the
Yeah.
chick and the dude like they text each other back and forth.
That actually just came up. I just
I'm
went.
adding this to my list.
It was really enjoyable.
I just actually.
My mom's going to be like, why is there a YA book on this?
Yeah.
Don't you worry about what I'm doing.
I just met with yesterday. Me and Daniel, the owner of Interstellar Brewing, we got together, and he's a writer, and we sat down and kind of critiqued each other's stuff. And at a really good restaurant called Delta Blues in Birmingham. Real good. Anyway, highly recommend it. But that came up in his sample. He had some text messaging back and forth. It's like, dude, I'll be honest with you, I don't know how you're supposed to actually format that.
Yeah.
He's like, I looked online and there's like 8 different ways, and I was like, oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
Good, as long as somebody can tell you, because
Yeah,
I can't.
because I had no clue how you're supposed to do it.
Well, and it kind of looked like, left justification, right justification,
Well,
kind of back and
how
forth.
how
on the
he was
page.
doing it, he ended up doing it with like he would put the person's name like Sharon colon
Oh, yeah.
and then in italics, and I was like, well, man, I'll be honest with you, like you're putting that in italics, and at later points you're having like internal thoughts
Yeah.
that are not in italics.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I didn't put those in italics, so I was putting the text in italics, and I was like, yeah, it's hard, man. But yeah.
So this book in particular, like, I know we didn't like agree to dig out quotes of why, but like this book, I have 3 quotes that really drive home why it was such a good book for me and why I would recommend it to others. The quote is, "Some people's coping mechanisms were all about festering and secrecy and ruminating until you grew yourself a nice little tumor in your head with a side of panic attack." Different strokes.
Nice.
So that I feel on a fundamental me level.
Yeah.
And then the other one is, "The homework doesn't end. It's piles and piles of emotional homework forever if you ever want to qualify as a grown-up." And therapy, y'all. It's important.
Yeah.
And the last one, "Finally, if you're wondering if it counts, and it feels like it counts, then it counts." So that's in a rapey context. Like, she's confiding with this guy who's her emergency contact, and he's like, "Look, if it feels like it counts, it counts." So I don't know. Y'all probably don't deal with that shit because you're dudes. But like, I don't know. It's a really good book. I recommend it for your sisters or friends or whatever.
Oh, fine. I won't read it then.
Well, you're basically
Your friend.
You're basically our sister.
Somebody who's like,
I'll punch you in the face.
Right.
Yeah, so there's that. Anyway.
So my first recommendation
It's gonna be
is
garbage because it's Bob.
The Puppy War.
See?
By
This is in my TBR, so
by
I'm anxious to hear this
R.F.
one.
Couldn't look up how to say it?
Kang? Quang? Kang Wang with it. No,
The
I don't
Puppy
know.
War. The Puppy War. Okay. So,
I think it's Kong, because AU is an aw kind of sound.
Oh my god, just tell me about it.
K-A-U-N-G?
Just-
here's my quick notes. I said, for fans of Name of the Wind, fans of teams being assembled, fans of sneaky planning, and fans of badass women. All right? If you read the Kingkiller books, and some of your favorite shit was when he is learning True Name magic, about how like he's now learning from this eccentric other professor. Mm-hmm. There's an entire arc of this book where the main character is learning from this kooky, eccentric... Like, basically, this book is a somewhat fantasy retelling of Chinese history, where, like, Japan is invading China. Mm-hmm. And basically no one believes in shamanism anymore. And she goes to this military school where there are, like...
Let's get down to business.
We need to watch that.
Well, it's like, where there's like...
Who we're going to defeat?
The Huns.
Okay.
There's like six tracks you can specialize in, and one of them is lore. And like the lore teacher, he just doesn't even show up. Like the first, like they go to their lore classes, and he just doesn't even show up. And she eventually makes inroads with him, but it's called lore, but really he's a shaman, and he teaches her shamanism. And but no one believes in shamanism, kind of deal. So it's really great for that. She is an utter badass, to the point like she does not let anything get in the way of her goals, kind of deal. Like, she gets her period for the first time, doesn't know what a period is, goes to the nurse, finds out, and is like, well, this is bullshit. Like, she has cramps so bad the next day that she misses class, and it's like, you can't miss class. This is like the most prestigious school in the nation. So she finds out that there's a tonic that she can drink that will basically kill her insides. So she goes and drinks it so that she will no longer have a period, so she won't miss class anymore. They're like, you won't be able to have kids. She's like, I didn't come here to have kids. I came here to be the best. She is a fucking badass. And then, like, I love things where they assemble a team, and there's eventually, like, the team is already assembled, but you meet the team in such a way it's as though the team was getting assembled, and it's magnificent. So, yeah.
I can't wait to read this and tell you how bad it is.
It's really good. It's really good. Weirdly, the last, like, basically my 3 recommendations are the last 3 books I've read.
Nice.
More or less. So, Derek, what is your next recommendation?
My next recommendation, since Tanya went on the mental health road,
You're welcome.
I think The Goblin Emperor is a good book to read. And I suggest it for depressed, battle-obsessed authors. Here's why.
Bizarrely specific, and I love it.
Yeah. Here's why. For the battle-obsessed author, it shows how to make a story with conflict that does not focus on combat.
Yeah.
Which I think is very good.
It ain't none.
Because there isn't any in that book for the most part. As for the depressed guy, or I mean it's the same person, but you know.
Yeah.
The depressed part of said depressed, battle-obsessed author. It has good lessons about distorted thinking. Because he interprets other people as viewing him a certain way because of just his outlook on life, and by the end of the book, it basically it's like they weren't really thinking the things you thought they were thinking the entire time.
Masterfully done.
It's a really good way to show how distorted thinking can completely ruin your life if you care too much about what other people are thinking without having any idea what they're actually
It's
thinking.
great. You need to read Goblin Emperor.
There's a lot of things.
I think the moral of the story here is y'all just need to read more.
I'm busy helping people.
I'm reading so much here lately.
2 of my 3 recommendations y'all ain't read.
That's because we read good books.
Oh, wow.
Savage.
Oh, wow.
Well, hey, but I know what your second book is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's give that recommendation of the book that me and Derek haven't read.
Yeah. Is this going to be a thing?
Oh, God.
So, for the person in your life who was a twihard, who just loved Twilight, who really dug into 50 Shades of Grey, if you've got that person in your life, get them A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. They'll eat it up. They'll love it. There's angsty girls falling in love with brooding men for no reason. He's rich and wealthy, but why? What's up?
You didn't like this book.
I didn't have to like it. But if you're that person, if you have that person in your life...
She knows all the reasons why she didn't like it is all the reasons that someone else will love it.
This whole series is insanely popular. Insanely popular. Like, y'all aren't the only literary people that I follow and talk to.
We're just the right one.
Oh, yeah.
We're the correct one.
Like, I do planners, like paper planners, and there's this whole, like, 40,000... people group on Facebook, and there's a subgroup of them who we talk about books, and I'm in that planner book group, and all of these housewifey ladies eat this shit up.
It's like those books that Dusty read that Kristen got him on, like the vampire kind of smut books. That like she was all about them, and Dusty would sit there and try and justify them to me. He's like, no, dude, there's but it's like the guy's name was Rage, but like Rhayge.
Yeah.
Like the moment he told me, well, like the main character's name is Rage, but he spelled it. I was like, bruh, I know. All you had to tell me was that, and I know what kind of book you're reading.
It's the reason people think poorly of genre fiction.
No, because I don't think this technically really counts. I think this stuff is really filed more under romance.
Oh, okay, whatever.
This particular book, A Court of Thorns and Roses, it's a retelling loosely of Beauty and the Beast. I guess, and that's kind of Sarah J. Maas's shtick, is that she rewrites
someone else's stories.
Yeah, and she's kind of built this whole series on this, and these ladies eat it up. And that's the reason why I read this, is because there were such glowing accolades and the reviews are so strong. And if you love G.R.R. Martin, you're going to love this. And
nothing.
No. But if you've got somebody in your life who really liked Twilight, who really liked that love triangle, who really likes weak, whiny protagonist females who fall in love with strong, brooding, angry men, get this. So they would love it. A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Okay, so since we went there,
Yeah.
and I prepared more than everyone
Yeah.
else,
Yeah.
let's go into my next book, which is for the high school romantic,
There we go.
which is the romantic who has no idea what romance actually is.
There you go.
And I suggest Wizard's First Rule by Terry Goodkind.
Doesn't that end up being like? Doesn't he end up falling in love with like a BDSM chick? Or
I'm not
book? Is that a later book?
I can't say.
He can neither confirm nor deny.
Well, no, I can't. It's too complicated to get into, but also we'll talk about it afterwards, and I don't want to. There's spoilers involved, but that's also not entirely true. But
well, I just know because again, coming back to Dusty and shit taste, Dusty watched the show.
Well,
the show was god awful.
Why are you taking book recommendations for someone who's illiterate?
Hey!
Oh, Dusty, I'm sorry.
Anyways, he doesn't listen. He hates us. But
he apparently can't listen to words, much less read them.
Yeah.
Well, just once this podcast blows up, and then he goes back to listen.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm going to tell him to come listen to this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, hey Dusty, I'll see you when I go and do a monitoring of Pike Regional. So we'll talk.
Yeah.
But no, it's the reason I say. First of all, let's be. I'm gonna be realistic with you. I really enjoyed this in high school.
Okay.
It was super angsty. It got so emotional for me that I had to stop reading the books by like book 4. I just couldn't handle it anymore. But it's got a, over the top love story with fantasy and world building adventure. Like, the thing is, the story itself is pretty interesting. But the romance angle is like so fairy tale angst over the topness.
Yeah.
That when she started talking about that, I had to go into this next.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because that's
I'll say this on the
what's
Poppy
in this.
War: if you kind of hate romance, like there's a very subtle bit of romance in this, but like this chick ends up developing like a mild crush on a guy, and then like that's about it. Like it's very like she does not let herself be like turned by a pretty face, like does not let romance get in the way of her goals. So
Oh, I forgot one selling point of A Court of Thorns and Roses. If you know a mask fetishist, there's a lot of masks, and they can't take them off. So if you know somebody who's got a thing for like masks, get them off.
If you
Honey, there's a thing for anybody.
Literally
different strokes for different folks.
If masks are your fetish, I have other book recommendations for you. Read The Traitor Baru Cormorant.
Yeah.
And read I think it's called the Dragon Crown series by Michael A. Stackpole. They wear like polite society, you wear masks. Like, if you're outside of the home, you wear a mask.
Anyways.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So, what's your next?
Okay, my next recommendation, I'm going to skip and go to Lion of Al Rasan.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ruin this for me.
No, but here's why. Because you talked about how, like, she takes a story.
Yeah.
Like, her shtick is, like, taking a story and retelling it.
Yeah.
The Lions of Al Rasan is... So, everything that Guy Gabriel Kay writes is vaguely historical. Like he writes in fantasy worlds.
Oops, it's my bad, y'all.
Look at that spike.
Look at that spike. I'm sorry, I dropped my phone.
So everything Guy Gabriel Kay writes, it's in fantasy worlds, but they are somewhat like loose retellings of our world. So like, Tigana is Italy. Like medieval Italy.
Oh, so it's kind of like he takes historical Earth things, tweaks them a little bit, and makes them fantasy stuff. Okay.
So I don't know how much you know about Spanish history.
Well, I mean, they had an Inquisition, but no one expected it.
Hey!
Just like that joke. Ah!
I mean, when she's right, she's right. No, so El Cid. All right, so are you all familiar with what they call the Reconquista? So anyway, much of Spain at one time was ruled by Muslims.
Yes.
And then eventually El Cid is a guy, he helps lead what they call the Reconquista. It's where basically Christians reconquered Spain.
Okay.
This book follows what is effectively El Cid, a famous Muslim of the time, and a Jewess. But it's not. It's not actually them. It's kind of fantasy retellings of them. Mm-hmm. So, and it's fucking amazing. First off, like, just everyone should read this book just because it's
prose-wise.
All right. If you enjoy good prose, you will be hard pressed to find better prose.
God, nice. I hope I hate it.
Okay. Also, if you love history, you will enjoy this book. If you like great world building, this has it. It feels very real. Now, granted, he is kind of he's using our world to kind of, so it's not like, but the way he does it is, it's not Muslims, Christians, and Jews. It's he has developed his own religion. They are like, it's basically the Muslims worship the moon, the Christians worship the sun, and the Jews worship the stars. Okay. Is roughly how they're all called different things, but it's done so fucking well. If you like fantasy,
I'm sorry, stop, pause. Yeah. The Christians worship the sun, the Muslims worship the moon, and the Jews worship the stars.
Yeah.
Well, like the Muslim thing is like a crescent. And oh, that's clever.
But just the way it's done is like, because I forget what they call them. They're not Jews, but I'm just going to say the Jews that they wander. They were wanderers because they were constantly being driven out of places. Mm-hmm. But stars move, you know. So that's that was kind of
okay.
Anyway.
Cool.
But also, if you like fantasy type stuff but don't like a lot of magic, this has a little bit. Like basically, this one kid in the book, he can tell when danger is coming to members of his family, no matter how far away they are. He can and his dad is one of the main viewpoint characters. His dad is basically El Cid, so he can just be at home and be like, "Oh shit, Dad's in danger," kind of deal. So but that's it. That's the only magic really in the series.
Well,
in the book. No, but it's oh god, it's so good. So if you dislike a lot of magic but like a little magic, it's perfect for that. It's real good, and ends in a way you just don't expect. Like you kind of see it heading in one direction, it doesn't go in that direction.
What you got, Darren?
Okay, my next book.
How many more do you have? I have one.
I
have one. Three.
Okay. So you, me, you, Bob.
Okay. My next entry is Deathstalker.
Amazing.
And who it is for fans of comic books and anime.
Yeah.
Now, the reason it is because it reads like a crossover event. Because every single significant character in these books reads like it's a comic book character who has its own series.
They all have a cool power. Kewl, cool power, basically.
Also, and they are like...
There's lots of last of his kinds
and best of this and super awesome.
It is, to me, it is the most quintessential space opera, and it's amazing. The whole series is great.
And then you have to, and not only are they all awesome, which is cool, but also they all in some way, shape, or form end up fighting each other, like in a comic book crossover.
Yeah.
So you get to see all these various super badasses fighting, and then realizing, oh, I'm not the most badass.
Yeah.
No, this guy's way more intense.
And there's 5 books in the first series, 4 books in the first series.
5, I think.
5.
I could be wrong, but
and they're all real good. Except for the one where they go to the toy planet, it gets really weird.
Yeah, that's the one I stopped on because that just threw me off.
Yeah, I guess.
But that's for why a comic book fan would like it. An anime fan would like it because they like comic books, but also because there are wiki wild, huge power displays that if you're the kind of person that likes the hyper stylized action of anime, and you have a decent, you don't even have to have a good, if you have a decent imagination, these books will be pretty great for you.
You know, the books I picked are all fairly standalone. Deathstalker is definitely the first in the series. Keep that in mind. But yeah, no, it's real good. Real good. So you're going next.
Yeah. So my last book is great for somebody who enjoys reading but doesn't really have a lot of time to devote to like a deep, thick fantasy novel, or definitely doesn't really have time for like a heavy series. Somebody who wants like a fun, light book. It reads like a breeze. Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Eames.
Yep.
It's
I would
fun,
also say
it's light.
If you're a fan of music,
Yeah.
like classic rock, read it. If you're a fan of wordplay, puns, stuff like that,
Adult
read it.
friendships, honestly.
If you're a fan of video games,
It's probably just the most fun book I've read in the past.
if you're a fan of D&D,
Yeah.
read it.
Yeah.
Good while.
Yeah.
It's not only is it good, it's just fun.
Yeah,
it's a heartwarming tale.
It's a fun, light read. You know, maybe you've got somebody, and I was
I'm not
this
sure
person.
a light read is the right way to say it.
No,
though.
it's not hard to read.
Okay.
Because
It's
like
not
there's a
deep.
lot
It's
of books
not
that are
not a
There's
lot of
some
deep
real
prose.
emotion stuff.
Yeah.
No, there's emotion
But it's not
there.
it's not a dense read.
Yeah.
Right. I just mean that I don't.
It is
Okay.
a fully fleshed out book, but it's not something that's going to slog you down. The prose and words of it themselves are easy to read.
Which is saying something, considering not only is it easy to read, there's some
There's great prose in there.
really
Oh, yeah.
good prose.
Yeah,
in
there's
there.
wonderful prose, but it's not anything that's going to stumble you.
No.
It was just a really enjoyable read, and you know everybody
There's
kind of
serious
gets.
bangers in there.
Or for yourself, if you're a person who traditionally likes reading and you've kind of found yourself in a slump, pick up Kings of the Wild.
If you're listening to this podcast,
Read Kings of the
and
Wild.
have not read this book,
Yeah,
you're doing a disservice to yourself.
I mean, we
Yes.
suck this book's dick like
but for a
every
reason.
other episode.
But for a reason.
For a very good reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It fits in the mouth well. It's a good length. You
but here's
don't
the
gag
thing.
on it.
Like I purposefully didn't put any Rothfuss on this book.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I really
Because
expected you to put
I
Rothfuss.
stayed away from it because we had that conversation a long time ago
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
there's no point in mentioning it.
Yeah.
But this is something that deserves to be mentioned because I know it's popular enough that people know what it is. A lot of people,
Yeah.
a fair amount of people, but I don't think it gets what it deserves because
Yeah.
it's
I
fantastic.
What I am most excited to see is what Eames does after this trilogy.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going. Like, I think he's got the chops to be a Sanderson, a Lynch, a who did First Law, Abercrombie.
Which
Like,
is on my list of
he
things I
could
haven't read
be
that I want.
that popular, but I think it's going to depend on what he does after this
Yeah.
trilogy. I think that's going to be his make or break.
Yep. But yeah, so if you know somebody who says, I love to read, but I don't really have a lot of time, or, you know, sometimes
Dusty.
books get too heavy, or,
Dusty.
you know, maybe they don't like traditional fantasy that's
Derek.
thick and heavy,
Oh, well, not
you know, that kind of thing. Kings of the Wild's perfect. And it's
Yeah.
great for somebody that if maybe you want to
You like
introduce
D&D?
them-
Yeah.
Yeah, or, you know,
like even if you're not that big on fantasy,
yeah, that's the
I
thing
feel
is like you don't
you'd
have to be a
enjoy this.
fantasy lover. I mean,
Yeah.
there's enough going on here. I really enjoyed the adult friendships because it felt accurate. Because it's like, well, we were really good friends, and then
Well,
life
I mean,
happened, and
for
we separated.
You, they were the most relatable characters because they're all old,
Wow,
and you're old.
Wow.
You know what? I'm going to back you up on this. It's most relatable to Tanya because she was good friends with us, and then she went on her own way for a long
and so now
time.
I'm
and came back.
thank you,
back.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I didn't even realize that, but yeah, I'm getting the band back together.
I mean, but really, it's mostly the old thing. But yeah,
Is that maybe Clay Cooper?
no,
Clay Cooper
I'm
is
Clay Cooper.
the. Oh my god!
No, you would be Golden Gabe.
Damn right.
Easily.
You're the mouth.
You're Moog.
Oh, I would love to be Moog.
I wish I was Clay Cooper.
Don't we all wish we were
That's
Clay
that's the
Cooper?
You're
close.
Matwin.
Maddie?
Maddie like actually is successful. I'm not successful.
You drink a lot. He drinks a
Hey,
lot.
you
No, no,
have
I
a
drink
grown-up-
consistent.
Of the people in this room, you have the most grown-up, successful
I drink
job.
consistently, but not to excess like he does.
Well, you're not Ganelon.
No.
No, that's what I'm saying. So
Do
the
we
best
even
choice
know
I've
a
got
Galon?
is.
Well, Brand Ambassador Ryan gets the anger.
And he's kind of, I mean, he's in the
Anthony,
the upside down.
Passion Pants Anthony. He's got the angry pants. He could be.
Well, I was just thinking like they got frozen.
He's got them guns.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
You're Matwin.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
The closest would be Clay, and I'm still no Clay.
Oh shit.
Watch your mouth.
Jane.
No.
No, because I'm not
Rogish.
that. Yeah.
No.
What was the other guy, the leader of the other mercenary group that had the sky ship that they end up bumming again?
Oh,
You're him.
I'd be
the guy who had the
guy that was on his team that was the
robot cockroach bug healer guy.
Yeah.
He wasn't a robot. He was a bug.
The Arachnian?
Yeah.
The bug guy.
Yeah, he was an
that was
Arachnian.
what
He was not a
y'all in
robot at
podcast
all.
land can't see my hands, but I was trying to do
She
bug
was
claws.
Zoidberg. She was Zoidberg.
She was doing lobster claws to imply a robot that's not a robot. That's an Arachnian.
I'm so terrible for this podcast. I can't remember things. It's awful.
Anyways, that's a great book. If you haven't read it, you definitely should.
Yeah, Kings of the Wild.
What's your last?
Second to last.
Second to last. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving from a book series or a book that has surprising heart in it to just a book that is really just about heart, I suggest The Joy Luck Club. Because
I have that on my TBR.
that is a
good book.
fantastic book.
It is. It really is.
I think it is for anyone, all the people, especially people who get frustrated with their parents or children.
Have you had a family? Then this book is for you. If you're an orphan, maybe this book isn't for you.
Maybe
But
it'll
if
help
you-
you understand where other people are coming from. No, it is for you, because then you'll understand how dare people complain about their family, because that's what you're thinking. You're like, they at least have a family. How dare they? Reading this will help you understand why they complain about their family, but at the same time, understand that that's just what happens.
Yeah.
It'd be like that sometimes.
They say it don't be like it do, but it do.
But it do.
It do.
But it does a fantastic job of painting very complicated relationships, but also showing from both sides why they act the way they act, so that you understand what's going on. And I think it's. I read a lot of things over the course of my education, getting my degree.
You partially read a lot of things over the course of getting your education. I was there for it, Derek.
I partially read a lot of things, but I fully read. Hey, none of that flirting on the podcast.
No, he's just trying to gag
She
me
was
because
yawning, so I stuck my finger in her mouth.
yawned.
God, Bob. Anyways.
All right, yeah, Joy Luck Club, it's good.
But no, it's fantastic. And it's important for building empathy.
Nice.
Okay. All right, my last recommendation is, drumroll, Uprooted by Naomi Novik.
Nah.
Nice.
All right, so if you enjoy strong female characters, this character is a strong female character.
Nice.
If you like fairy tales, this book has a very strong fairy tale feel to it, especially at the beginning. It kind of lessens and becomes more of a conventional fantasy story in the later parts of it, but it starts out very fantasy, or a very fairy tale-esque. Also, if you, again, like this is one that's not super, this is, like I talked about how like Poppy War had basically no romance.
Yes.
This has romance, but it's not stupid, constantly in your face romance. The romance doesn't really blossom until like basically the end of the book, kind of deal. Like you can see the arc where these characters are probably going to wind up together, but it's people are too busy getting shit done to get caught up in some emotional bullshit. And it's cool. It was refreshing. It's like, okay, cool. Going back to Lines of Al Rassan, the three viewpoint characters are basically El Cid. No, this doesn't, like, it's El Cid.
I already know more about it than I want.
This Muslim courtier and this Jewish doctor. And there ends up being not really a love triangle, but it's like these are the Lions of Al Rassan are these two men, basically. Like they're the two paragons of their faith, of their countries, basically. And like the two like most respected, powerful kind of people. And well, not powerful, but
influential.
Respected. Respected kind of deal. And she's obviously drawn to both of them for different reasons, kind of deal.
Right.
So it's kind of a love triangle, but it's not a stupid love. We're not talking Twilight. We're not talking because
I hate a book with an arbitrary dumb love triangle.
She has very good reasons for feeling the way that she does about both of these men, but she's a fucking doctor.
But Bob, in Twilight, she has a very good reason. One of them sparkles. The other one is a cuddly wolf man. Continue.
But like she's a doctor. Like she's a well-respected doctor. She's got her, like she goes off and just is doing her own thing. Like she doesn't need, she's
don't need no man.
She's a strong, independent black woman, don't need no man. You know, like she's fucking doing it. Savage. But no. And that's why I like all three of these books. I like, now, Lions of El Rasan was written some time ago, but like the other two books have been written in the past like year or so. Mm-hmm. And it's just nice to see that you can have these books without like pointless relationships, or like relationships that don't feel like super fucking forced,
right?
You know,
right?
Like I just like sometimes you feel like the author's just checking a box, like I'm writing this fantasy novel. I've got these two characters. I should probably put in a romance in there.
Now
like,
kiss.
Yeah,
just
like
mush their faces together.
Mush their faces together. It's like sometimes it can feel like that to a degree when you have people making a dumb choice. Yeah, but I don't know. All three of these books were refreshing in how they handled romance, kind of deal. They were all books that like the plot is what's important here. The romance is secondary. Let's handle the catastrophe, and then we can fall in love or whatever.
Well, that does sound refreshing.
Yeah. So those are my recommendations.
Derek, your last
My last recommendation, and this was the first one that I wrote down because it made me giggle in the middle of my training seminar.
Great.
And I'm going to say one book, but it's really a trilogy, and I mean actually I mean all of them. Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. And the reason is, who is it for? Masochistic PETA members.
PETA. Nice.
Yeah.
Because, why?
Yeah.
Because it's...
Read the book and you'll find out why.
Yeah. A lot to do with animals. Super awesome animals.
I like animals.
It's mostly
also
dogs, though.
Super
I mean, I like dogs, but...
Later books, Bob.
I like other people's dogs.
Well,
I don't want my
the
own
first
dog.
book, he's got the...
No. But I'm saying it's not all about dogs. Later books.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Derek, are there cats in this book?
Later books, Tanya.
Do they do terrible things to the cats, Derek?
Masochistic, Tanya.
Well, that just means you hurt yourself.
By
being a PETA member reading these books.
Oh, no! You know, like, does the dog die in the end? I need to know, does the cat get messed up?
I can promise you.
We were listening to this podcast about a serial killer, and I was like, oh, you should check this out. He was like, you should listen to it. It's called Happy Face.
Yeah.
And I then, like, listened to the next episode where, like, the serial killer, he killed a cat. Like, and it, like, kind of goes in depth on killing a cat.
It's pretty...
And I was like, oh, she's not going to like that.
So, in this particular podcast, they talk, like, there are sections where they brutally talk about, like, killing these women, and I'm just like, oh, that's terrible. They go into, like, this 5-minute section of how he kills the cat, and I turn the podcast off and have to regroup myself.
So,
because she's also serial killer, Tanya.
This is, yeah.
No, let's not let that be a thing.
So anyways.
Blow my cover.
Animals play a key role in the book, but also a lot of animals die in these books.
No. On purpose?
So
suicide. Animal suicide is very common in this series.
No,
what the friggity frack?
He's kidding.
What even is this?
No. But this is a book that I once tried to get Bane to read, and then it's probably for the best that he didn't read it because he would kill me.
Is it really? Is it one of those recommendations? Be like, hi, are you really depressed this holiday season and really don't want to make it to New Year's? Read this book.
Yes. No.
That's not entirely fair.
Yeah, well, no, that's fairly fair.
No, I don't think it is.
This trilogy doesn't end well, Derek.
Well, it depends who you are and what your morals are.
Huh.
It's a very good series, and
is.
it continues onwards.
Really
okay, you're right.
It's a very complicated series.
What a note to end on.
But my joke, look. Here's the thing. It's got a lot of animals in it. It does a lot to show like the connection between a human and their not really their pet, but an animal. Kind of how what they can learn from each other, what the danger of being too close with an animal is, things like that. But it's also got a lot to do with like duty. And one of my
duty. I love how we were both like, duty.
We're the most mature literary podcast on the internet.
But one of the other things I like the most about the book is that there are multiple relationships in it that show a lot of maturity as well as immaturity. Because there's an instance of the whole, basically the high school romance.
Yes.
There's some of that in there. Then there's also like the kind of what I consider real romance, where it's like two people growing together and realizing.
Is there a sparkly vampire?
No.
Then I'm out. Lost interest instantly.
Does anyone shapeshift into a critter?
Yes.
Do they brood? Are they brooding?
Yeah, there's some brooding.
Yes.
Yeah, there's
there's
brooding.
definitely brooding.
Are they wealthy without reason?
No.
Well, they're royals.
Okay, cool. All right. This sounds... Keep going. It sounds like something I'm going to hate.
No, because... No.
Wait,
we're not... This is not continuing, okay?
Is this Assassin's Twilight? Is that what this is?
No, so here's the thing. Is there royalty? Yes. Are they like, no. Because the entire book is about...
Do they run around and be like, yes, my lord, my lord?
The entire series is about...
Sire.
Is about the royalty slowly killing themselves trying to take care of everything.
Well, that's what you get when you inbreed.
No.
That's what royalty does. They
do.
Keep their bloodlines pure. That's why...
They do.
Derek!
Yeah.
Don't you love history? The royals would...
No.
Gotta preserve your bloodline. Marry your sister.
They purposefully don't do that in this book.
Oh, well, that's where they messed up.
No, they
diluted their bloodline.
In this context. I'm going to leave now.
So the moral of the story is we just recommended you 11 good books and Twilight Light.
Yeah, pretty much.
And by that I mean Assassin's Apprentice.
Oh! Just kidding.
As always.
No, enjoy your holiday.
Yeah.
Buy gifts for people.
Yeah, you should definitely buy some of these books for people you love.
And you should enjoy this last episode of the podcast.
Because Derek is going to go.
Do you have
No, I'm just going to kill both of these as soon as the thing turns off.
Do you have a recommendation?
What?
Podcast land. Do you have a recommendation for what we should give each other as gifts for book swap? We have a book swap.
Are we on the podcast doing a book swap?
No, but we're doing a book swap. We need to buy books to swap.
Can you enunciate that P a little bit more?
Pop.
My plan is I want to do The Adventures of a Reluctant Messiah by Richard Bachman.
Yeah, that's because you're wrong.
I'm probably going to give him Talion. This is on my bookshelf.
Yeah. You should give him God's Dust by Scott Adams.
No, you shouldn't.
What is that?
A book that you had back a decade ago.
Oh.
That's cute.
Oh, you're so adorable. You think I still have things from that long ago? I lost all of my books, y'all. It was tragic.
They got
everything.
I did. I lost everything. It got left in a storage trailer. I lost all my books.
Oh, that's what you meant? I meant something different.
Oh. Womp womp.
Womp womp. All right. So, as always, I was supposed to do a post about this contest, and then I didn't.
Yeah, he's pretty shitty.
And again, though, like no one has entered.
Me though.
Yeah.
That's why I'm super fan, Tanya. Not just regular fan, super fan.
Oh my god, in this podcast, because if I
said,
hear her say regular again, I'm going to regularly break this glass over her
So,
regular.
I got her watching Community.
Yes.
You know, Britta's the worst, right?
No, because I haven't watched Community.
Oh, really? That's
amazing. No, yes, I have. I'm sorry. I can always get,
Yeah, Community. So Britta's the worst. Well, Britta has a whole arc where she says bagel, and they start making fun of her, and Tanya felt personally attacked.
I did. I felt like
when she did that.
I
looked over at her and she was like back in her chair, like kicked back, aghast, like personally attacked. All right. Anyway, I know I've said it already, but go forth and grow a great beard.